I made a whole video on how negativity is contagious and explaining the reasons why. Now this video is about hate bait. You've heard of clickbait, right? Well, hate bait is similar to that, where it is content that's put out on the internet, whether it be video, pictures, or whatever, that caters to hate, and it caters to negativity. And it basically takes advantage of people's innate negativity bias, right? So people have a bias, like if there's a negative thing, then you're better off paying attention to that versus pretty much anything else, typically, as far as like a biological survival instinct, you know? So like, if you're in a field and all of a sudden a lion pops out, you're going to be like razor focused on that lion and forget all the birds and all the other things that are around you, right? So the negativity bias is kind of like you can't help it sometimes, right? You have to actively, like I talked about before, you have to be guarding your autonomy. You have to be guarding your actions. You have to be in control of yourself to the degree you can be in control of yourself, right? So when you see hate bait, when you see something that's negative or or hating on something, or just overall negative, right? They're trying to entice you to, like, hey, pay attention to this. This is negative, and it caters to that negativity bias that you innately have. So you have to actively, try to avoid that kind of stuff, because negativity, once you allow it into your psyche, you're exposing yourself to it audibly, visually, that kind of thing. Then it kind of like takes over, and it becomes contagious, and then you start being negative, and then you pass it on to more people, right? And so the reason why there's a big problem right now is because people are basically rewarded with attention and also with money by getting attention using hate and using negativity. And if you start rewarding something, you start, you reward a behavior, it's going to continue and it's going to grow. And that's a big problem when it comes to negativity, especially now, where people just make up false things that's negative because they want to cash in on that attention and that money, based on the engagement and the attention it gets. Because not only does it attract people, negativity does, but also people like to complain since negativity is contagious, people like to go to that negative thing and then be negative in that area, right? So it has all this engagement, which boosts the ability for that post or content to get presented to more and more and more people, right? So it becomes a really bad process in rewarding negative things to start off with, and then rewarding false negative things, or misleading, or you twist it just enough to, like, well, it's plausible deniability whether it's real or not, or whether it's true or not. But I make the person think that there's something there, and then so therefore they'll click on it or whatever. It's a form of clickbait, obviously, but it's more specific with the hate, which is even more. To me, it's more sinister, because it's already a problem with people, the negativity, like it's already a severe issue in society, people being negative, and then, bringing them down and bringing other people down. And, it changes your worldview. It changes the way you see everything. And that's a big deal. If you allow yourself to develop this lens over top of your eyes that changes things to where it becomes a certain way, it becomes a certain, like in this case, negative thing. Like everything you see, you're looking for the negative constantly, and it really can make your life spiral. You're not going to see opportunity in negative necessarily. You're not going to see the potential in negative, the positive potential. you're only going to see the negative, which is not going to help you grow. It's not going to help you improve. It's not going to help you in any area of your life other than necessarily avoiding a negative. But, you know, usually you avoid a negative by just not engaging with it. You do the positive instead. You focus on the positive to avoid the negative, not focus on the negative, you know. So that's it all goes back to guarding your autonomy. And your autonomy is that you want to live the life that you want to live and not be steamrolled by all the different things that are going on in the world and all the people that are trying to get your attention and focus and energy. They want to hijack your energy. They want to hijack your focus, and they want to hijack your direction in your life. And you don't. And it's very easy to go in all these different directions. And note, these are all not your direction, right? Any direction that's not yours is not yours, right? It's the wrong direction. And also, if you don't even know that you have a direction, you don't, like, you're just reacting. That's why I hate the term react, right? People overuse that term, react. React is an animal instinct. You're not using your brain to react, your higher brain. You're not responding as a human being. You're reacting as an animal, you know? So there's very few instances in which a human being would react to something. You know, if you're just walking through your yard and all of a sudden there's a snake at your foot, then you jump back. That's a reaction. You're not using your higher brain, your frontal cortex or whatever to understand that there's a snake. That's your base of the brain. Animalistic instinct is to jump back, right? That's a reaction. A response is that you've thought about it, you understood it, you thought about it, and then you chose to formulate a response, right? That's a lot different from react. So when people are using the term react instead of response, they're taking away to a large degree your agency. At least linguistically they are, you know, and that's why I don't like it. So yeah, it's a negative thing. There's so many negative things. It's always in the direction of the negative. When they change words, it's always in a reductionist way, to take away meaning. When they change words, it's usually to aim at a negative, right? So you have to actively go against, or you have to actively, in your life, resist the direction in which it's like a gravity pulling you down. You have to resist it by standing up, right? Well, the gravity is negativity and just negative in general, you know? Like if you just walk into the store and just buy whatever food they offer you, you're going to have a negative outcome of your health, especially long term. It's just going to be absolutely destructive to your body. And if you go into the store and you're like, I'm going to reject everything except for the very precise things that I want to get for my health, you're active and you're asserting your own autonomy in a certain direction, and you're not being swayed by things that look cool or that's colorful or whatever. You know, you have a goal and you're sticking to the straight and narrow path, which all the other paths are not on. You're not on all the other paths. You're on your straight and narrow path. It focuses you, so you're not rubbernecking at negativity if you're on your narrow, straight and narrow path, right? If you have a goal that you are excited about and you're working towards, then you'll be less distracted. So yeah, there's a lot to say about negativity in general, but the whole online, like, incentivizing negative content and then spreading it like a wildfire, and then people that have absolutely no concept of their own autonomy is gobbling it up, and which creates this cycle of, incentives for negativity once again. So it's like it's a feedback loop that is not good.